welcome to the new year. This is the last day, day 12 of our 12 days of sacred self, our contemplation through the spiritual hierarchies and the cosmic or spiritual reality that is out there and in us here together. My name is Jona Bryndis. I'm an energy healer, energy coach, therapist, and trainer of other energy healers. And with this journey that we walked here these last 12 days, I want to give you a little bit of a feeling, for what is ahead. Today's topic is future awareness. But before I do this, let me start out with a question. What do you think is the fascination that we all have with the future? We all want to be clairvoyant, right? And we all want to know the future. Have you ever thought about it? Why that is?
My ego self wants it for safety.
Yeah, go a little deeper into this. So how is knowing the future making you feel more safe?
For me, it's about the security, so I will have enough.
Security on what level, Linda? We've talked about all these different levels of reality and the dimensions of ourselves here for the last 12 days. What does this safety and security refer to? Which part of you?
For me, it's a very low level. It's the ego, so it's finances, food, shelter, all those basic things.
Okay. So is there something like a belief here that says, if I know exactly what is going to happen, it's safer for me here in this lifetime on a material level?
Or that I can let go of the worry and maybe be more present.
Okay, so that's another aspect, right? That's basically the aftermath of feeling that you're in the know. What are some other contemplations or thoughts about the future? Why are we so fascinated with the future? Why do we want to have this vision of the future? And what are your experiences with perhaps having a vision of the future? Anybody here ever had these, these synchronicities or these inner guidances, these inner promptings in their lives that turned out to be true? Maybe not like in the movies, like as a premonition, but something that you can clearly define as a guidance here for the future. Anybody ever had this here? Did you follow it?
Yeah, Dave, I can jump in. Yeah, it was probably the toughest moment in my life when I had to believe more than I could think. There was that I hit a wall and I had to follow my heart feelings rather than the chaos in my head. And it was really tough, but my word, it changed me. You know what I mean? That was the toughness.
Knowing truth is one thing, following it is another thing.
Yes. We can all give it airtime, but when you actually have to step in the ring and do it is where you find yourself. I found
What's the
myself
conflict? What's the conflict? Can you describe it, Matthew? You're on to something extremely important.
Conflict is more self-belief.
Okay.
In being able to just actually stand up and say my truth. It wasn't the truth. It was like finding a voice within me that would been there, but never got the privilege, and because ego and logic always kept it down, but it had a knowing feeling. You know, it's like when you say something is so, it is so. You know, that simplicity, not why it is so.
So what do we have to stand up against?
Well, that was for me the paradox. It was more like I felt I had to in that previous version, but in reality that I didn't have to stand up against anything. I had to surrender into just the opposite.
So there was this, if I'm getting this right, Matthew, there's this sort of feeling of just going with the flow and kind of just tagging along with whatever our ego, our mind creates as a narrative, right? There's sort of a storyline in our head, right? I'm doing this because, and yeah, that isn't really that good for me, but da-da-da. So there's all kinds of conversations going on inside of us, right?
Correct.
And when someone actually gets a glimpse of the future, a glimpse of what is true for them, a huge big conflict starts. Because is that a guarantee? Is it a guarantee that we will choose according to what we know as truth? No. I want all of you to have a bit more critical view of your own ego's drive wanting to know the future. Perhaps there is a blessing in not knowing the future. No, I'm not saying this as in like, oh, we all got to learn to trust in God's mysterious ways. No. Future only appears as mysterious if we don't understand the context. I mean, there are some futures that you can foretell, one of which is you're going to die one day, right? One day, your physical will decay, your ego will dissolve, and your etheric imprint, will be recorded in your soul self. This is kind of, in a rough version, how this occurs. Okay, so things like financial stability, etc., have zero meaning anymore. That is one of the big truths about the future. Yeah, and we have, depending on our age groups, a certain amount that we can expect. There's an expectation. Okay, so if you think about it, but if you really knew everything about your future, if you knew that you were going to stump your toe tomorrow and that you're going to have to go to the doctor in 3 months and that you are going to experience a betrayal of, a loved one or good friend, a disappointment, that you're gonna lose something, how is that going to change your choices? Tell me.
I think it would be boring for me to know everything. I would, I think I could be a little lazy and think, okay.
Mm-hmm. You don't have to do anything, right? Everything is just
I think
fated,
so.
predestined. Mm-hmm.
I like that I don't know everything. It makes me more curious.
Okay, that's one aspect. Yet there's something there to explore. There's something there perhaps to shape, to participate in. Maybe future all comes down to what we do, what we choose, what we hold in mind, what we put out. There's many that say that. And for the last 11 days, we've talked about conscious manifestation, conscious co-creation for a reason. How does the prospect, that your physical 3D material life will end at some point in the near future affect your choices?
I know that I can't wait or procrastinate too much, because I know that I have to do things in a little hurry, because I have not really many years to wait. So I think it have a meaning for me.
It motivates you?
Yeah.
So there's a sense of urgency that comes with this, right?
Mm.
Knowing that this physical life is just a cycle. So Annette, for you, because you shared both sides of this, you said that, well, if everything is predestined, then that would make me lazy. And at the same time, the fact that you know that there's an end, sorry, that there is an end to this physical existence also motivates you to step up into a certain level of self-responsibility. This is a very individual, very subjective process that we go through. How are others here standing with the one truth, namely that you will die sometime in the near future? Is this something you look forward to? Is this something that you don't want to admit, that you don't want to think about?
In one way, it's comforting, and in another way, I feel like there's a lot to achieve in this life. Mm-hmm. Before that happens. So again, it feels like there's a push to, when I say achieve, I mean, things that I think that I'm supposed to do, maybe. So I feel a sense of urgency in a good way to get on with that this year. But the question, the fact we'll die, as I say, in a way it's comforting, but there's a lot to do before that.
How do we know what needs to be done? What are these things that you mentioned, Emer, that come in as an impulse, like, I still have a to-do list. I still need to finish up things. What are these things?
It's actually this year has been a big realization of maybe my standards have increased, I don't know how many fold this year, as in what I accept, from myself and from others.
Accept as in, like, that you tolerate, that you're
that I
okay with in your life. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. There's still a little bit of confusion as to whether maybe I'm being oversensitive, but I don't think so. Actually, now that I say that, I don't think so. Definitely, I feel as well that I've been maybe giving unconsciously my abundance away in every sense, and I want that now.
Mm-hmm.
I want to claim that. I don't mean abundance just financially, but I mean just giving things, parts of me away. And it has had impacts, financially as well, but some feeling of just not deserving, maybe, or something to do with upbringing. So I'm claiming that back, if that makes sense, and not in an aggressive but I just feel like that's the right thing. That why I suppose should everyone else have abundance and I keep giving it away? I think the flow of give and take is much more healthy.
What I hear you say, Emer, is that you are becoming much more aware of who you are.
Yes.
And what you want and what you need, values.
Yes,
they
and
have
I like
to do with the sense of self. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I actually like who I really am. I'm much stronger than I thought, and I think I deserve much more than I thought. And
what
also,
if that is your future? What if that is your future?
What did you say? Mark it out as that is the future.
Yeah.
Also, I feel in regards to relationships, I feel more able to be honest and to put myself out there, no matter what the relationship, and be more honest, as opposed to being honest and a dread of what the response will be, if you know what I mean. So I guess that's confidence as well.
It all comes with a true sense of self, and ultimately something that we all practice here at transCODES and everywhere in life, connecting with our true self more. Being more authentic with ourselves and with the world. And that leads to a different kind of future. All right, so this whole talk about the spiritual realms, the spiritual powers that come in with our awareness, gradually, level for level, has to do with us understanding ourselves fully. We call it true self here on a 3D level, but there is so much more to us. There is the spirit being in us that we have already agreed upon, the soul self that we can all feel, that continues having a future after this life ends. Maybe with or through incarnating into more lives or not. Beyond the 3D are at least 9 more training courses that we have to absolve, that we have to graduate in. Do you get what I'm hinting at? This physical life is just the very beginning of a much greater journey. And the only way how we can let go of this fear, of everything is going to end when we die, is to understand ourselves as human beings, to understand the true nature of ourselves. Not just here in this 3D life, but I love what you shared, Emer. This is the training course. This is the school for learning how to become true with yourself. Learning how to become authentic with others. Learning how to embody all this and implement this, everything from how we communicate ourselves, how we deal with the whole giving and receiving, the mutuality aspect of life, how we present ourselves, how we expect things, how we project ourselves. Those are all things that need to be mastered before we can assume, these higher levels of spiritual evolution. Yeah? Would you want someone like Hitler, for example, to be able to master all these powers that we talked about? Why not? Because they can create a lot of damage in 3D. All right, so we have these forces that help us grow, that support us, that empower us to grow into our spiritual faculties. And this comes in through all these various methods of spiritual initiation and awakening that we talked about. But we also have these adversarial forces that work against this. Yeah, that need, like a lower plane, because that's where they exist. Right? They need that to be populated. In fact, these dark forces, and again, here's a tip to educate yourself on the nature of darkness. I've done a lot of workshops on that. You can find that in our Sacred Self-Healing Forum. Darkness, right? These adversarial forces are those beings that fell off the wagon, that did not understand or chose not to follow the organic evolutionary path, that chose not to follow divine order, that basically devolved in any of their lifetimes. And it's kind of like this, if you have a visual, that when you fall off the wagon, the fallen angels, when you, decide against, the sort of this divine nature that we all have, you're going to have to go back to go. You're going to have to go back to preschool and experience lower spiritual realms. So we explored all these higher spiritual realms, the ones that are above us and that bestow us with those higher spiritual tools. But there's also realms below us. Elementals, nature spirits, elves and trolls and ghouls and demons and ghosts and all of that. And this is part of our future now. As we are awakening to truth, as we are strengthening the sense of a true self, and with it beginning to understand what it actually means to be human, our future is about learning how to discern this now. so that we can graduate from the spiritual kindergarten called 3D life, so that we can discern lower and higher spiritual realms, so that we can discern the forces and the powers that we are confronted with, that we are engaging with, so that we can learn what is true to us. And this, as I called it for many, many years, is almost like a moment of choice. It's where all this talk of bifurcation comes in. The global spiritual awakening that we will witness here in these next years comes with a choice. With the choice to follow your divine path, the one that you have as your own birthright as a human. So as a human, you are set on this divine evolutionary path through all these different realms, mastering all these different powers. Or you want to opt out. How would the opting out of such a cosmic future that is programmed into us, how would the opting out look like? I'll give you examples, and this is very important here for this new year. If you believe that your being is only material, you are choosing against your divine nature. It sounds a little harsh. We need to become aware of this. If you choose to see yourself as or like a machine, like something that has a function in 3D only, and therefore only care for your earthly treasures, and perhaps subscribe to all these little gadgets and things that are being suggested to you that allow you to prolong your life, that allow you to bypass the natural cycle of things. Certain death is part of the natural cycle of things. Then you are choosing against your divine nature. This is how we are being confronted with these adversarial forces. Through our mindset, through our belief system, through forgetting who we truly are, through losing the connection with who is running this physical being here, that is not the machine, the bag of flesh that you are experiencing yourself as. It is the spirit being in you. Spiritual kindergarten level, fine, but still way up there compared to the lower forces in this cosmos. You are bestowed with divine consciousness, with the ability and the potential to live, to embody love, light, truth. And now, in this day and age, freedom, the freedom to consciously choose this. See, when we get put into kindergarten, our parents decide that for us. Same with Sunday school. This is all your parents choosing that for you. There comes a time in all of our lives, sort of the microcosmic version of the macrocosmic journey that we have, where we choose our path. You have the right to opt out. You have the choice. Why? Because we are now at the precipice of etherizing ourselves, of literally transmuting the density of our physical self. How do I know this? I can see it everywhere. Massive and massive amounts of people awakening to energies, to their energetic sensitivity, to their spiritual connection, regardless of faith or religion or gender or ethnicity. We are waking up to a deeper truth, and this truth, the sword of truth that allows us to discern, that allows us to know what is of the divine and what is not, what is light, what is love, what is freedom, and what is not, is now coming in for us in form of awakening. So the future is completely different from how your ego thinks future should be. Your ego thinks future should be, I don't know, like a direction manual maybe, or like something that never ends, something that comes with some external power that gives us, the answers, that tells us what to choose, so we don't have to engage, we don't have to participate in that. This is literally what your ego thinks future awareness or knowing the future is. And there's something quite funny about this. All my life, I've been dealing with this knowing aspects of the future, counseling people, giving advice for their questions about the future. And you know what? And this includes myself. It's only a tiny, tiny, tiny fraction of people who actually act on it. Knowing the future doesn't do anything for your ego. I can promise you that. It's an illusion. It's the illusion of safety and security. Why? Why? Ask why. Because your ego can only think as far as itself. It cannot imagine what is beyond this ego reality. It's like when you tell a 5-year-old, one day you're going to be a grown-up and you're going to have children on your own, and then you're going to know, what I mean when I say blah, blah, blah. Do you really think a 5-year-old can understand what you're saying? No. This is how we are. We're being told that we are gods in training. We are being told that we have the faculty to grow into divine consciousness. This is your future, guys. Not just in this lifetime, maybe a little farther out. But that is the truth. And all adversities that we experience, all struggles that we experience, have to do with not wanting to follow it. What's your ego basically saying? Oh, yeah, that's like far out there. I don't need to worry about this now. I want my cake and I want my cookies and I want my TV series or my pleasure. And that's all I care about. It's just like a 5-year-old. It's okay. But understand that your future is already there. There's no mystery. It's just you needing to actually grow into the awareness what this means. And when we look into the near future, the things that we have already sort of tapped in here, your guys' visionary capabilities are very accurate, guys. We are being confronted with ideas of the future that are coming from dark forces that are completely misleading and misdirecting. And how will you be able to discern this? I tell you how. First of all, you will recognize it by these ideas, these mindsets, these beliefs, distracting you from your true nature, your true origin. All these theories about aliens having genetically tampered with humans to become their slave race and all that serves to alter your understanding of selves. It serves to materialize your view of being human. No, guys, it's not about this body. This body is the highest evolutionary state of physicality, of materialism, okay? This doesn't need to be augmented. It doesn't need to be prolonged. Of course, sure, we want to have more comfort and all this, and that's something that we can get through technology, but only to a certain degree, guys. Yeah, the foot massager, and the, I don't know, skin rejuvenator and neck cracker and what all these items that are out there, they're all fine. But they're not going to change your future. Okay? If you want to actively participate in the future that is already shown to you, I have shown you these, or given you these glimpses into your future. Yes, granted, that's way out there. But this is the evolutionary path that you have been given. And the way you can feel this, and this is why this is such an important discussion topic in this time to come, is through your heart. You can begin to feel truth. You can begin to feel the light. You can begin to feel freedom and love in your heart. We call this grace, a power that is awakening in you here, along with those spiritual hierarchies that we also call Christ consciousness. The white dove. The white dove that awakens in you. It shows you the way to freedom, truth, and love. That is no longer future, it's already there. You just gotta wrap your ego mind around this. We talked about this here in these past days, guys. So before we go into the alignment and the resonance, the vibratory resonance of future awareness, I want to share a technique with you called the I am breathing. Many of you are already familiar with it. How you can strengthen and how you can empower your own energy system to tune into who you truly are, where you're from, and where you are going, so that you can make this stance, so that you can stand up against untruth, unfreedom, and unlove, these adversarial forces. Breathing infuses us with the light and the warmth of spirit. So never underestimate this. When you take a deep breath into your belly, opening up your diaphragm, the muscle, the membrane between your heart consciousness and your ego consciousness, you are increasing your capacity for truth, love, and freedom in you as these pillars of grace. We also have to integrate and clear out all that has already contaminated us in form of too much thinking and in form of too much fear. Your thinking sits here, your fear sits in your belly and your hips. So this I am breathing technique is a technique that allows you to connect, integrate, and clear at the same time. As you take in a deep breath and inhale through opening up your diaphragm, you are also pulling in all excess mental energies and all excess emotional energies into your heart. And as this heart center, the heart chakra is expanding, it also expands, it also increases your capacity to hold whatever it is that you need to harmonize with. So as we're listening to the alignment right now, I want you guys to really focus on I am breathing in this way. Pull in all excess energies from your head, pull in all excess energies from your belly into your heart. Hold it for a moment. Allow this diaphragm, this muscle, that is restricting your heart chakra a bit, to expand. And then breathe that out. Exhale sideways. I've already posted the words for this alignment here in our chat. Lean back and enjoy alignment for future awareness. Future. Take a deep breath and allow your spirit to be fully present in the now. Feel into the new beginning of conscious growth and the love for your sacred journey. Listen into the silence. Can you hear the voice in your heart? Take time and space to listen to the whispers of your soul and feel the presence of your sacred self. With every conscious sacred self moment, remind yourself that you are not your thoughts or your doubts. You are not your sensations. You are not your emotions. You are the consciousness that experiences them. The observer of daily ups and downs, and also the witnesser of divine order unfolding. Inner joy or desperation are merely momentary reactions to your highest potential unfolding. Future is in stillness. Future is in the now. You are your future. Claim your power to choose your future by making each and every choice a conscious manifestation of your sacred self, even if your ego doesn't know where it will lead you. Know that your true self guides you, and send your gratitude back to it so it knows that you are present. Once you can feel the love for who you are, you know you have arrived in your future. Rest in the stillness of your heart now, so that you can take a leap of faith, knowing that your sacred self is stronger than the fear of the unknown and the pain of the past. Thank you. Thank you. Your sacred self is stronger than your ego self, fear of the unknown future. Future awareness is recognizing that you don't need to be afraid of the future. In fact, you choose your future. But you choose your future by which reality you believe in. These are all complex spiritual concepts, and I know that they sometimes sound a little far out there when you look at the realities of life, when you look at war, when you look at all these things that we have to deal with, guys. The forecast for 2024 is already posted, along with an article that I wrote in these last couple of days, and in there I mentioned that what the future brings to us now is something that I call loving truth. Loving truth more than your ego, more than your fears, more than your projections or your expectations. I talk a lot about darkness to familiarize you with the nature of these energies, but you can't understand the nature of divine energies if you refuse to acknowledge dark energies. Yeah, we've investigated this yesterday. We found out that there is a greater divine plan there, and that is that the confrontation with these adversarial forces, these dark energies, are designed to help us making the right choice. So whatever comes our way here this next year, in a year from now, in December 2024, we're going to be sitting here again. I hope so. And we are going to reflect on some of these things that I hinted in the forecast. Those of you here in the Energy Training Club and who have signed up for the Energetic Tune-Up, we're going to have a deeper look here into your personal energies, your personal opportunities and challenges this next month and 2 hours from now. And then we're going to continue working through these forces that come in to help us become more aware of our true nature, that help us to understand what it means to be human, and also the responsibilities that come with this choice. I'm not worried about any of you guys. Yeah. If you resonate with this kind of information, there you go. Yeah, then you can already feel this in you. But I do want to point out that there's many people now in your environment that will be shocked by what is going to be revealed in 2024. It will make so much more sense to you when we meet again in December, why you had to go through all these ego battles. We'll have a new level of gratitude. Yeah, that's why I keep reminding you, send your love, send your gratitude to your true self, guys. Don't fight it. All right. Did any one of you have impressions on this last day of Sacred Self that perhaps show you a glimpse of your future, or feelings about these energies that are coming in? You shared some beautiful visions here in these last 11 days, and I associated these with the month of the year. This would be December 2024.
Yeah, hi, it's Annette.
Hi, Anita.
It was very, very powerful. Almost hard to describe by words, but I had a feeling of being in the middle. I don't know how you say it, in the middle of the storm, in the eye of the storm, and being totally calm. And it was very moving, very touching. Yeah.
Powerful, moving, you say.
Yeah.
Hi, Jona. This is Abigail. I feel like for like kind of for the first time, I really feel like I have like a clear understanding of like being here and being human, and kind of and the importance of our spiritual growth versus kind of our materialistic growth, and then I kind of like feel like a threshold, because like knowing that, I feel like that there's just so much more to know as well, and so much more like growth to come, and I can kind of like feel parts of it like kind of coming through, but of course I don't know what it is. But it feels really exciting and encouraging, and I'm just so grateful that that I have this understanding of like who I am and what I am, and to be able to do that in this group setting, and that because things make sense now, like things make sense, and they never did, and now they do. So I feel very grateful and optimistic. Thank you.
Thank you, Abby, for sharing. It's very powerful. It really is the key. If you understand who you truly are, where you're from, and where you're going, all your ego struggles fall away. Now, you still stump your toe and you still get, the niggles about things. But you no longer need to worry.
Today felt like a massive clearing, and I felt like even you had to go through the sneezing, but I felt like you were nearly doing it on behalf of, you know what I mean? It just represented these last just clearing.
It's normal for me to go through these physical symptoms with the energetic tune-up. I'm used to it, but it usually isn't so visible for others. So here you see me going through these energies. My body is clearing them out.
Yeah. So it was a really good representation, I think, of that. It's maybe it's a bit rather if it wasn't happening, but it's not harmful either. You would rather probably if you weren't, but it's totally harmless, and I feel like it was a complete representation of.
Thank you. That soothes my ego a bit, because I felt utterly ashamed of hacking in front of you. But there's more to it, Emer. Thank you for your compassion, but also for your ability to contextualize things. So next year, around this time, guys, this will be a few weeks after the US elections, 6-8 weeks after the US elections. And that ain't going to be pretty. Okay? So there's a lot to come here in this year, 2024. And we need a really clear spiritual compass. Yeah, so this is what came in December. Yeah, I went with the theme and gave you sort of the bigger map that is still obviously, like Abby said, it's more just like, okay, there's more, okay. Yeah, it can be motivating, to know that there is so much more. But we still have to deal with the everyday challenges. We still have to deal with knowing what to stand up for and against, knowing what we want or we don't want, knowing what we are worth, knowing what brings us joy, what brings us peace. This is my personal tip to all of you. It's okay to wanting to experience joy, even when you're on the spiritual path. It's okay to enjoy what you do. Just find ways to harmonize, your ways of making money, the ways of interacting with people and socializing with people, with your true self. Just become more authentic, and all the struggle will fall away. So the deeper spiritual level here of this alignment, and also what concludes these 12 days of sacred self, is the understanding that grace, Christ consciousness, is wanting to come into materialization through us. It's wanting to come to manifestation through us. This is what this resurrection body is. It's a deep, esoteric secret of how we evolve. And I've mentioned it here and there, and understand that that future, that Abby, what you called like that, there is more, is the etherization of your body. Christ consciousness came to us in this 3D material world through Jesus Christ at the crucifixion. And through the resurrection, we were shown, and by the way, Christ consciousness is the only type of sort of spiritual ascension, that is there for everybody, regardless of your faith. You don't have to believe in Jesus Christ to receiving this power. And this is very different from all other religions, just on a side note. It is us becoming spiritual with our intellect, with our body, and with our conscious feeling. And in that way, Christ resurrects within us, with each and every one of us who recognizes this and knows. Grace as a method of spiritual initiation and healing that I practice here at transCODES is available for everybody in a group setting or in a personal scheduled setting. But don't expect this to be a one-time event. This is your path. All right, so the minimum for me to work with you is 1 year. That's the minimum. In my experience, spiritual initiation takes about 3 to 4 years. And then there are other things that become more important to us, love integrity, for example. How to translate this into our relationships, or being of service, becoming someone who assists others. Not necessarily maybe through becoming an energy healer, but becoming someone who can help people navigate these spiritual experiences. And as you know, I cater to that as well. So here next week we have our new love integrity class starting, a very deep experience in translating all your spiritual values into your relationships. And in 2 weeks, we have the new semester, the new class for energy healing practitioners, coaches, and healers starting. So don't forget that this It's the most important journey that you are on. So with this and with the beautiful symbol of the white dove, for inner peace, I want to wish you a most loving, a most truthful, and a most liberating new year. I appreciate all your guys' presence, your compassion, your sharing, and most of all, your dedication and your willingness to listen within. Your presence here honors me because you give your attention to this content, and I hope that all of you watching this can share this with others, just like I shared this with you. Thank you so much, everyone. I can't wait to see you again in any of my classes, courses, or workshops. In 2024, we're going to have local workshops here in Orlando. Get my announcements. If you haven't subscribed to my email newsletter, do this, or my website. Both will get you the news publications on YouTube or articles. Stay conscious. See you soon. Bye-bye.